Greetings, Commanders. I'm Commander Gypsum, and today I'm going to show you the engineers, and we're going to talk about how it works and what it all means. So, as you can see here, I'm in my trusty Python, Daggerfall, and I'm headed to Farseer Base.
Access granted. Proceed to landing pad 04.
Alright, and at Farseer Base is an engineer. And they're going to help me, I'm not going to say upgrade my ship, but I will call it overclock my ship. And we're going to get into that a little bit more once we land here. And I just want to show you basically what this base looks like. As you can see, it's completely different from what we've seen so far in 2.0. And all of the engineer bases are all
gear deployed.
drafted individually, so they're going to be different for each one. And as you heard, now all of the stations, everything has air traffic controllers that kind of guide you in, give you permission to land or tell you to bugger off. And they've also changed what the hangars look like on the ground stations. So we're about to see the differences here, where before it was exactly as it was on the larger stations.
Restraints. Your arrival has been noted.
Alright, as you can see, it's a lot different. We got some different lighting. It looks like we're actually underground. And there you can see we are at Farseer Incorporated. And yeah, it looks like this looks like an actual underground base now instead of the orbital stations. And now it's time to check out our engineer here, Felicity Farseer. And we've got a bunch of different things we can upgrade here with Felicity. And right now we are in Mayhem, so that means everything is unlocked and everything just costs fish. Alright, so the first thing we're going to check out here is the FSD. Now we've got some different kind of things we can upgrade here. We can do a faster boot sequence, longer range, and a shielded FSD. All those are great. I'm going to go with the increased FSD range because I don't like jumping forever. So how it works here is we select it and we see we get negative things, as you can see here, mass, integrity, power draw, and the optimized thing, we get optimized mass. So that'll let us jump farther. Alright, and here is where the magic happens. You can see the red bars here. That is the range that the little generator here will be able to go into. So we do view, cost, and generate. Right now you can see it's just costing us a fish because we're in Mayhem. And it starts this little sequence here, and we'll jump around. So it's kind of like watching the slots. So you can see we got a decent optimal mass there. And for secondary effects, we got a decreased thermal load and a decreased power draw, which is good. Got thermal load down by 8%, optimal mass. It's looking pretty good, but let's try again. So basically it's going to cost us another commodity. I'm just going to call it commodity now because it's going to be parts and recipes that we're going to have to grab, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Okay, so this time we pretty much maxed out here our optimal mass, and our thermal load is down. Our mass is still a little bit high. You can see it increased it by a little bit. And our integrity is not bad. It just decreased just a little bit. And we got a decent upgrade here, so we're going to keep it. And apply. Yes, thank you very much. And upgrades are really just that simple. Now, as you can see, we've got a bunch of different things we can try here. So let's try something else. Let's try multi-cannons. As you can see, I've got 3 large multi-cannons. This is new with 2.1. I'm not going to get into a lot of the new stuff now. I'm going to do that later. But you can see we got some different options here. Got efficient weapon. Let's see, high capacity magazine. Pretty self-explanatory. A lightweight mount, which decreases the mass of the weapon, makes it lighter. Overcharge weapon increases damage per second and damage, and in this case rate of fire. And let's see, we got short range blaster. It increases the damage and damage per second. but negatives on everything else. And sturdy mounts increases the mass but gives it better integrity and better armor piercing. Personally, I like overcharged weapons. I think that's going to give me the best bang for my buck. I got 3 pluses for only 1 negative. And now it's time to spin the wheel and see what we get. Alright, so here comes a little animation. Damage per second, damage, distributor draw, rate of fire, secondary effects. Those get factored in. And now for the special. Oh, look at that. We got a little roulette wheel and everything. And what did we get? We got an auto loader. So with the auto loader, it will automatically reload the gun, but a smaller clip size. Handy, but you know what? I'm not doing great damage per second, which I really like. And yeah, let's just try it again. So it's time to roll the wheel once again, but now all I have to do is just click and it will kind of skip everything. So we don't have to watch the whole thing every time. So again, the upgrades are not great at all, and I don't have any effect, so yeah, try again. And this is the roulette of the new engineer upgrades. If you don't like it, try again. Damage per second, damage, rate of fire, smart rounds. So smart rounds will detonate before they hit a friendly ship. I don't care about that because I don't really want smart rounds on all of my mounts. So try again. Okay, so about the same, and we got smart rounds again. Try again. And luckily right now all it's doing is eating fish, but each time we would be using a different kind of commodity. And again, not great. Roll the dice. Come on, baby. Give me what daddy wants. Alright, damage per second, not great. Damage, not great. Rate of fire, not great. Emissive munition, this is going to help you find ships that are in silent running. That's not really going to affect me, so try again. Alright, come on. We're getting sick of spinning the wheel here, and here we go, no effect. We don't even care, we're just going to try again. We definitely want a good effect. Come on, baby. Here we go. Good damage per second, good damage. And rate of fire is decent. We got thermal shock, so this is going to create heat on our enemy, and that is what we want. All right. So now that you got the gist of what I'm doing here, I'm going to put the video in ×2 speed and basically just talk about the engineers here a little bit. And so what the engineers do is they overclock whatever item, whatever utility, whatever weapon that you choose to use. And basically what it's doing is it's trying to get a little bit of an advantage of something that you're interested in, and as a result you're going to get some disadvantages as well. So as you can see here on this one, we're going to gain mass, but we get more armor piercing and integrity. And basically that's how it is with every piece. You're going to get some negatives for a positive that you're looking for. And sometimes the positives are high. You'll get maybe 3 positives for 2 negatives, or sometimes you only get like 2 positives for like 4 negatives or something like that. And that's really something you need to think about while you're doing. And as you can see here, we have different levels of upgrades, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. Now, when you do get introduced to Engineer, you're going to, well, eventually be able to get the bottom grade, the level 1 upgrades. And you're going to have to earn trust, or I'm going to put it more like repeat business, to be able to get the better upgrades. So the more you upgrade your ship with an engineer, the more they're going to like you, and the more upgrades that they're going to offer you on the different components. Now, to get all these components, you have to use parts. You have to find materials that you can find in combat and on the surface of planets that they require to do the upgrades. And this is basically what we're looking for here. As you can see, I'm in my trusty Python. Now I just killed an anaconda and an asp scout, and it dropped these parts here. And these parts are the things you have to scoop up and take to the engineers as crafting parts. And basically, all these parts you're going to have to kind of get hit and miss a little bit of the RNG. You're going to find parts that you don't need. You're going to be looking for parts that you do need. So it's going to be kind of like a scavenger hunt, trying to find the parts that you need for the upgrade that you're looking for. So yeah, that's parts. Now it's really going to be up to you whether you see an upgrade that you want and go out looking for parts for that specific upgrade, or just go around, just collect as many parts as you can, get a nice large hole full of parts, and then go see an engineer and see what you can upgrade. Yeah, so that's going to be really up to you on what kind of style you want. So as you can see here, I'm upgrading my shields, and yeah, look at that. It's just maxed out for resistances. We got some power draw, but it's good. I'm going to keep it. And shield boosters, this is what really affects your shields right here. Going with heavy duty shield boosters. You get a huge boost, and the only negative effect is mass. Now I suspect that they're going to change this eventually because this is pretty OP. This is going to make your shields pretty ridiculous for not much of a cost at all. But you know, we'll see. And thankfully maybe they should keep something like this in. Something a little bit easier that's not going to have too much searching for. So who knows, maybe we will keep it, but I suspect not. Alright, so this is basically how the upgrades work. It's kind of like a little bit of a gamble, little gambling mini game, and scavenger hunt to find the parts. So let's do a comparison here between my traditional Python here, Daggerfall, and my Python Daggerfall that's been upgraded by the engineers. There's going to be a direct comparison so we can see some numbers. And here is where you can see we get right down to some of the numbers here. And as you can see, Daggerfall Classic started with 468 armor. This is with the lightweight shields. I didn't use the military grade. So the engineers added 36 armor to 504. Shields had 557 megajoules with the highest shields possible. And the engineers added an additional 493 megajoules to turn it into 1050 megajoules. That is a huge jump. That's almost doubling the amount of shields that we had from Daggerfall Classic. When we look at jump range, we had a jump range of 17.37 light years unladen, and the engineers added another 3.89, so now we got a jump range of 21.26 unladen. Now if you look at the actual picture, one of them says cargo capacity 64, the other one does not. I don't know why. I checked and double checked, and they both do have the same amount of cargo racks in the same slots, so I'm not sure why the picture doesn't reflect that. I don't know, maybe it's a weird beta bug. And finally, speed. We got 276 cruising, 348 at boost with Daggerfall Classic, and the Daggerfall added 65 meters per second on cruising and added 97 meters per second on boost. So Daggerfall Plus comes out with a speed of 341 meters per second on cruise speed and 445 meters per second on boost. And that is wild. 445 meters per second on a Python. That is crazy. Now, what the numbers don't show is damage and damage per second before and damage per second after. And that is going to be an enormous jump to the tune of around 50 to 75% extra damage. But that we can't reflect that yet. Maybe when Coriolis IO gets updated, we'll be able to put in our exact numbers, and it'll give us our damage per second difference. So just as of now, it's just kind of winging it. But when I was looking at all my weapon upgrades, they were upgrading anywhere between about 40 and 70% with damage and damage per second. Just insane stuff. Plus adding other damage like corrosive and heat and things like that, which I just can't reflect yet in hard numbers. So now that we know some of these numbers, let's check it out in action to see what Daggerfall Plus can do out in the RES killing fields. And here we are in Daggerfall Plus back in my home system of 1952 SETI, and you can see we've come across a clipper. Alright, so you can see I changed my power management to 2.5 on systems, 1 on engines, 2.5 on weapons. And the first thing you notice is, hey, the beam lasers look different, and I'm making like a fire effect on the ship. That's because I'm producing heat into the clipper. That's my beam lasers have got the heat generation mod on it. And now you can see I've got multi-cannons firing, got the 3 large, and they're red as well because they are also producing heat. I managed to get red heat producing stuff on everything. And as you can see, the clipper is just torn to shreds. And I can already hear you say, but Gypsum, that's a clipper. Clippers are kind of squishy anyways. You know what? That's a good point. Let's go after this anaconda, and we'll see just what this python can do to a poor anaconda now. As you can see, I'm doing my kill warrant scanner, coming up behind him, open fire, and now the Python isn't usually a very acrobatic ship. You know, it's kind of slow, it kind of lolls about now. But look at this Python. Python Plus is just moving right around. He's not getting in front of the anaconda. The anaconda is squirreling around, trying to get around, but it's just not happening. Now these 2 beam lasers that are firing are both medium. And I've got plenty of power to strip the shields off from an anaconda with 2 medium beams. Now look at his hull, look at his power plant on firing with those multi-cannons. This anaconda never stood a chance. Daggerfall Plus is one mean SOB. Alright, so those were both large ships, and it just tore them to pieces. So let's go out after this Cobra Mark III here. Now the Cobra Mark III is an extremely fast ship. It was the fastest back in 2.0, and it doesn't look like it's going to be the fastest anymore in 2.1. But let's see how the Python handles the Cobra here. Get up behind him, and the shields are gone. Look at that mess. The multi-cannons open up, and it just shreds. It shreds the ship to nothing.
Scan detected.
Man, what a mess. So now we got another Cobra Mark III coming at us here. So we're just going to scan him as well. And, oh, never mind, I'm not going to scan. Just going to open fire. And you can see that same red effect. And you can see a little icon underneath his ship picture when I'm doing heat damage. So I'm doing heat damage as well as regular damage to the ship. Straight through the shields into the hold of the vessel. And then open up with the multi-cannons, and you can just watch the hull numbers just slide away into the oblivion. Nothing stands up to Daggerfall Plus after the maximum engineer mods. I mean, just look at my shields. I never even got close to losing 1 ring. It's pretty crazy.
Target destroyed.
So now that you've seen what a ship, even as mediocre as the Python is in combat, can do after all of those mods, I can hear you saying, but Gypsum, what does it all mean? Well, what it means is you're going to be able to turn any ship into anything you want, really, with some overclocking. Now that sounds great. It sounds like, you know, we can finally get what we want. We can change what we want to get the ship that we're really looking for. And you're right, it is fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to it. So what is the cost? You know, what is it going to cost to get all of these awesome upgrades? We don't know the specifics yet, but we know that it's going to take materials, it's going to take blueprints, and it's going to take reputation. Now, all of those things is not something that you can buy. It's not something that you get as like a bonus to skill. It's what it's going to come down to is time. How much time do you have to go out and look for these materials, look for these blueprints, and do all the crafting for the engineers to get the mods that you want? That's what it's going to come down to, is time. Now, if you play Elite Dangerous a lot, you probably have plenty of time. You're playing anyways, and you don't have to do something specific to get these parts. If you like combat, you can blow up ships and get parts. If you like exploring on planets, you can find some of these things on the surface of the planets. Now, we don't know if there's going to be some components or parts that are locked behind something that you must do, like you must do A to get B. That, we're not sure yet. I'm sure that's still being thought out over at Frontier Developments, and we'll find out, after the final release of 2.1. All we can really do now is speculate in beta. But what it looks like is, if you have the time and the perseverance, you can find the components, the blueprints, and get that reputation with the engineers to make the ship that you want by overclocking the modules available. And as you can see, I didn't spend a huge amount of time. I did about 70 transactions. So right now it's just in Mayhem, where you use fish for everything. So I used about 70 fish to get all of the upgrades that I needed. And something tells me, when we are looking for those materials and blueprints, finding 70 sets of what you're going to need is going to take quite a while. So if you're prepared to do some engineering modifications on your ship, I hope you have time. Alright, Commanders, that's going to wrap it up for my overview of the 2.1 engineers, what they do, how you're going to do it, and what it all means. I do appreciate you stopping by and having a look-see. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. Something tells me you guys are going to have some interesting things to say. Alright, Commanders, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the black. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you thought in the comments. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to see all of my latest videos.